Oh, we can, well, we could have told.
Lucy, okay? Okay, is that good? Let's see if I can do this just a little more.
Yeah. Just drainage.
Ira, you want to mute everybody.
Okay.
She changed the color of the wall again. Looks dark.
She did make it a little darker.
Okay, good morning. Today we're going to talk about rotation. So I'll use my own legs as an example. Ankle, knee, hip, shoulder area, those are your load joints. You could have rotation that would occur at the foot, where the foot could evert, so you can see my feet. Where your foot could evert, your lower leg could twist or bow, that would be bow-legged or tibial torsion, or your femurs up at your hip could rotate medial or external. And those rotations in the leg bone would change the way that your pelvis works, or maybe it's the other way around, and the pelvis, some restriction in the pelvis or rotation in the pelvis or difference between the hip on one side and the other may create more rotation down the leg. But we can work on that rotation to be able to bring back proper function to your body. So 17 muscles connect to the pelvis. The pelvis can alter its tilt. That can change what's going on. You could also have rotation in the spine. So if your pelvis is rotating one way or the other, that might twist your spine and your rib cage and maybe your shoulders, and you'd see that compensation. So I thought today we would go after rotation in all over your body. And the result of that should be able to have proper hip flexion, hip extension, lumbar flexion, all in different places in the body. We know that when there's that twist, bending forward and bending backwards is difficult and often doesn't feel good and can create shear force, which is what ultimately damages your body over time. So let's reduce the rotation in all kinds of places in your body and go after a full body routine to bring some of that out. And maybe by the end, for me, this right lower leg will look less rotated. Maybe pick what that is for you. Let's bring some symmetry to your body. So take a deep breath. Feel your feet on the floor. Feel the sensations of your body. One more full deep breath. Just show up right here, right now. And then with your feet pointed straight ahead, we're going to start at your shoulders. We often start at the thoracic back because that's where a lot of compensation can occur. So pinch your shoulders onto your back, slide them up, and push them down. So you get a little bit of thoracic extension. Relax your belly and begin to open up space in your upper back. Lift and lower. Then relax. Once again, a little bit of a squeeze. Relax your stomach. Lift your shoulders toward your ears and push them down. Lift and lower. Excellent. Then right into a shoulder roll. Check that your feet are still pointed straight ahead. Relax your belly up and back and around. Big shoulder roll. 10 times. And forward, up and forward and around. And backwards again. Feeling that move all the way down your back. Excellent. Fold your fingers to your palms, bring your hands to your temples. Elbow curls, elbows all the way together so they touch, and all the way back, reaching back. Once again, soften your belly. So if there is compensation in the shoulder because of some scoliosis potentially, we can free up the scapula, and that can begin to change what's happening down lower into your back. We can reteach the shoulder blade to hinge. Keeping your wrists strong and stable. Five more. And release. Good. Right into arm circles. Fold your fingers into your palms again, arms down by your side. Pinch your shoulder blades together. Bring your arms up so that they're parallel to the floor. Squeeze them one more time so the arm bone is into the shoulder socket. Big full breath, relax your belly. Circle forward, 40 circles. Keep those arms parallel to the floor. Keep squeezing. Shoulder blades hug in, belly soft. And release. Turn them up so they're palms up. Squeeze your shoulder blades onto your back again. Bring them up. Hug the arm bone into the socket. Keep the elbows super straight. Curl those fingers into your palms. Relax your belly. Circle backwards 40 circles. Feel what's happening at the level of your shoulder blade. Is it hugging in on both sides? Do you feel your abdominals tense anyway? And release. Excellent. Now, let's go into the rotation that might happen at your lower leg, and we're going to use short foot for that. So 1 foot forward, 1 foot back, bend your knees, relax your belly, let your shoulders just relax, and lift and lower your toes up and down off the floor. Lifting and lowering your toes makes the knee align. We're using the muscles that are hooking up from the bottom of the foot at that arch all the way into behind your knee. That might help bring that shank around if there's some rotation. If there's also hyperextension in your knee, this would be a good one to work. These muscles would work a little bit more like a brake and maybe wouldn't let that knee hyperextend quite as much. Keep going. Bend 50-50 weight between your feet, relaxing your shoulders. Big breath into your belly. Have about 5 more on this side. Lift your toes, press your toes down into the floor. Lift, press, and maybe you feel that all the way up into your back. Go ahead and switch sides. And then bending down, again, 50-50 weight between your 2 feet. Bend down as far as your body will let you. And then lift your toes on your front foot and press them down. Lift and press. Lift and press. Switch your feet one more time. Look at that back foot. Make sure that back foot is really straight. Bend deeply. 50-50 weight between your 2 feet again. Let your arms just relax. Let your body do what it's going to do. Relax your stomach. Lift and lower. And switch sides. 1 more set. Maybe you get a little bit deeper into your dorsiflexion. Lift and press. And come on up. Good. Both feet pointed straight ahead. So now we're going to go after a rotation that might be in your pelvis. So feet straight. I'm going to have you lift your kneecaps up. Fire up the muscles in the front of your legs. Pull them up there. Lift, 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 lift. And then hang. Bend over. Keeping your thighs tight. I know it's early for this, so go slow. Breathe. Maybe feel your abdominal muscles as you go over. Get in touch with your front flexors. And get to the place where your body wants to be. And just hang. Keep your thighs tight. Keep those kneecaps lifted if you can. And breathe. So forward folding can reduce rotation in the pelvis, in your spine, maybe in your legs. Come on up. Pay attention to how you clasp your arms and go the other way. And then once again, tighten up your thighs, bend over. Keep your thighs tight, kneecaps lifted, and bend into a hang. Notice if you can feel your abdominal muscles, those flexors, maybe into your hips too. Perhaps you get all the way to your hamstrings and then go ahead and come back up. Nice. Now, let's go after if there's any elevation in your hip. So let's go right into a windmill, arms out to the side. Exhale over. Inhale, lift. If you have a wall that you can go back to so that your shoulders, hips, knees, and ankles are lined up on that wall, and you can go after this lateral flexion with a little more support for your front to back body, your dynamic tension. Take your feet wider, still pointed straight ahead, arms out to the side. Exhale over. Inhale, lift. Exhale over. Inhale, lift. So as we bring your legs out, it's more challenging for your body to keep your hip elevated. And we get to lengthen part of the psoas and work on things that might keep that hip elevated. Take it wider. One more time. Exhale over. Inhale, lift. Exhale over. Inhale, lift. Okay, turn your right toes so that they're pointed out straight ahead. Then shift your hips to the back so that they move like that, and then go into a triangle pose. Opening up more space. Going after some different hip muscles and bringing those into alignment. Again, working on if there's some elevation or if there's an offset in your torso. 3 breaths, fully in, fully out. In, out. One more. And come on up. Shift your feet. And hip shift. So make sure you get that hip to the back and then take it over. And breathe. Feel that shoulder on your back. Go ahead and bring that arm forward for a moment. We'll do this on this side. We need to do it on the other side too. Pull that shoulder blade onto your back and then bring it up again. That's going to change how that whole side body opens. Good. Come up. Go back to that other side one more time. Do that same thing with your arm. Take it over. So shift your hips to the back. Take it over. Pull that shoulder blade onto your back a little bit and then take it up. Nice. Both hands coming down onto your hands and knees, cats and dogs. Round and arch your back. bringing your pelvis and your shoulders all into better alignment, all the way up, all the way down. And then have a seat. We're going to go into our twists now. So we can often reduce rotation by rotating. So go ahead and take your legs out straight. Cross your left leg over your right. Take your left hand behind you. Roll an arch into your lower back. Keep your right thigh tight, kneecap lifted. And then pull your body around. Keep trying to put more arch in your low back. And then let your whole spine begin to rotate. Pelvis stable. Find the muscles in your belly, your obliques. Those are your twisters. And draw your shoulder blade toward your spine. Let your head rotate. Hold and breathe. Let's go 5 breaths. 1, 2, big and full. 3, 4, and 5. Untwist. Switch sides. Right crossing over the left. Hand behind you. Sit up tall, putting an arch into your back. And find your obliques. Twisters. Then shoulder blade toward your spine. And breathe. Big full breath in. Exhale completely. See if you can twist a little more. Don't push it, but let your body do it. 3 more or 4 more breaths. Gently untwist. Come onto your back for a hip crossover stretch. All the way down, feet on the floor, knees bent. Turn your palms down. That'll change some of your shoulder blade stabilizers. Then cross the left ankle over the right knee. Bring it all the way down to the floor. Press that knee away from you and look left. Gently press that knee away to help open up that hip. External rotation of the femur. Also benefiting if your lower leg is rotated or your femur is rotated. Or your pelvis or your lumbar spine. This is working on all of those. Any kind of hip disparity, we're working to bring it out. Three more breaths, fully in, fully out. Inhale, come up. Switch sides. Cross the ankle over your knee. Take it all the way down. Look right. Press that knee away from you. And breathe. Bring it up. Both feet on the floor. Pelvic tilts. Rock it backward and forward. Gently rolling your hips back and then rolling your hips forward. Once again, working on, now that there's less rotation in the torso, less rotation in the pelvis, we should have a smoother flexion and extension mechanism. Let's go for one more crocodile twist. Both legs extending straight on the floor, arms out to the side. Put your right heel on top of your left toes, and then rotate your hip up and over. Look to the left, tighten your thighs, and then once again, find those obliques. Twist shoulder blades gently on your back, and hold and breathe. Keep trying to rotate that up and over. Five full breaths, fully in, fully out. One more. Untwist. Switch sides. Right heel on top of your left toes, and then twist up and over. Thighs tight. Kneecaps lifted. Keep trying to rotate at your torso. Shoulder blades on your back. Put palms down flat and then 5 breaths. And untwist. Both feet on the floor, pelvic tilts one more time. Rock it back and forward. Palms up. And then let's go into a free crunches. So both legs in the air, cross one ankle over the other, hands behind your head, look up at the sky. You're gonna look slightly behind your head, keep your elbows back so your shoulder blades stay on your back, and crunch straight up toward the sky. Lift and lower. Lift and lower 20 times. Keeping your head back, just crunching straight up and lower down. Switch sides. Same thing. And release. Onto your hands and knees. Let's go into, actually onto your belly. So that was flexion. Let's go after any more torso rotation that might still exist. Hand, leg, opposite lips. Bring it up there, hold it up there. Release. Second side, opposite arm, opposite leg, and bring this hand down by your side. So you kind of swim your shoulder around. Lift, hold, release, and switch. Lift, hold, release, and switch. Lift, hold, release, switch. Lift, hold it up there. Release, switch, lift, hold, release, and switch. Last one. And release. Press up onto your hands and knees. Move into a kneeling groin stretch. Left leg coming forward. Right leg back behind you. Relax your belly. Hands on your knee. Make sure your ankle is ahead of your knee for this one. Totally let your belly go. And draw that hip forward. Maybe you feel the crease of that front hip, that back leg going back behind you, shoulder blades relaxing down your back, or just a gentle squeeze. Shoulder blades down and back would be okay here. Letting that back leg get behind you, letting this front hip go into flexion, that back hip go into extension. Working that mechanism. So if we've gotten rotation out of the leg, rotation out of the shoulders, rotation out of the pelvis, and hopefully rotation out of the spine, then we should get pretty good hip flexion and extension happening in your body. Switch sides. Letting that ankle be just ahead of your knee. Letting it bend deeply. Relax your belly, relax your shoulders. Let that open up. Maybe you feel big in the crease of that hip, getting really good hip flexion on that front, like a big squat. Some opening in the back hip. And cats and dogs, one more time. Round and arch. Round and arch. As you come down, let your shoulder blades go into your middle back. Let your neck extensors work. Looking up, lengthening your head forward. And round again. All the way up, all the way down. Awesome. Come onto your back. Feet on the floor, knees bent. Check your alignment. Hips, rib cage, shoulders. And then with your feet on the floor, squeeze and release your butt muscles. Tighten your glutes. and release. Relax your belly. Don't let your belly help you right now. Just tighten the butt muscles and release. Squeeze, release. Do 20 of those. When you get to 20, then put your yoga block in between your knees and squeeze and release your yoga block. I have to grab mine. Between your inner thighs. Squeeze, release. Big breath into your belly, keeping your belly relaxed. Good. Bottom of your feet together. Let your knees drop out into a frog. And just stay here for 1 minute, letting the weight of your legs pull on your adductors and bring your pelvis into neutral. Big breaths. And then bring your legs back together again. One more time. Find your butt muscles. Squeeze and release. 20 squeezes. Then put the block between your knees. 20 squeezes with your knees. And once again, frog. Big breaths into your belly. Bring your legs in. And then rocking chair, up on your toes, back on your heels, up and down. Getting the lower leg to tie into behind the knee, knee into the pelvis. Hopefully a much more aligned pelvic girdle. Big breaths into your belly. Cross the right ankle over the left knee. Open that up. Second side. And then place your block between your feet with your legs straight. Soft knees, ankles flexing back. I'm going to make my block go up. So feet straight, outer edges of the feet pulling toward you, knees slightly bent or just not locked. Ankles cranking, arms out to the side. Relax your belly. We'll just do this for a minute or so, but in an ideal world, you would wait maybe up to 10 minutes or so to let the muscles of your hips really start screaming. So let's give it a little bit of time, but pull your feet back. Double check that your nose and your belly button and your sternum are in good alignment there. And we'll tie this all back together one more time. So knees a little bit soft, outer edges of the feet pulling back. Feeling it, waiting until you feel it all the way up into your hips. Big breaths in your belly, and everything else relaxing and softening to the floor. Let's go 5 more breaths. One, fully in. 2, 3, 4, and 5. And release out of that. Come up. Find a spot that you could do an air bench. Find a wall, slide down, keep your ankles ahead of your knees. Slide down that wall, press your low back flat to the wall. If you can get toward 90, great. If you're up a little bit, that's fine too. Oh, I'm slipping. Stay here and hold it. So we went after rotation today, rotation that might be anywhere in your body, in your ankles, in your shanks or shins, in your femurs, in your pelvis, in your spine, in your rib cage, or in your shoulders. And reducing that rotation allows for proper flexion and extension much more easily, those mechanisms that we need. And when we have excess rotation, or your body rotates, sort of like if a house is has a foundation that is starting to fall on one side and the house starts to rotate and starts to collapse on top of it, that is what happens to your body. And that collapse starts to change the way your body is functioning. Your joints will function differently, and those joints function differently means that there's wear and tear or shear force in ways that we don't want. Hopefully your thighs are burning by now. Hang in there. Let's go 10 more seconds. And come on up. Well, that looks a little better in my leg. Hopefully that looks a little better in your body. Feel that in your body. And then find a spot that you'd like to do your meditation, on your back or seated or in static back with your legs up. Or you could go back into that position for longer with your block at your feet, pulling on your legs, keeping your knees soft and allowing that. We call it a, oh, I just lost it. Lying supine. It's called a lying supine. So find that position, whatever position works for you. And tune into your breathing. Close your eyes and begin to widen the visual field that you have with your eyes closed. Notice that there is even a little bit of light in the blackness. Almost like a sparkle, a divine luster. Allow your body to melt into sensation. Now I'm just beginning to work with this, but for most of us, there's a sensation that your visual field comes from your head space. Allow that even to melt into sensation, that your face or behind your face is also just arising in consciousness, the sensation of your face or your head. Experience all of it as sensations arising in consciousness. And notice what appears. Notice the space around what's appearing. And the moment that you notice that you're lost in thought, come back to those sensations, the blackness and sparkle of your visual field behind the sensations of your body. Your breath moving in and out of your body. Notice what else might be arising in consciousness in this moment. And then slowly come back to the full sensation of your body. Maybe add a little movement. You're welcome to turn off your computer and stay there, or come back around and say goodbye. Check in.